I love it so much, you guys have no idea. Pelosi wants FBI to investigate pro-Palestine protesters for financial ties to Russia. That's it, folks. There you go. For all your hard work advocating for the sane and sensible position of not indiscriminately killing Palestinian civilians, you too get to be held to the same level of scrutiny as, I don't know, the Canadian truckers or whatever else. Thank you, Democrats, for signaling, as always, your willingness and commitment. The audio of her answer is so deranged. Is it?
How concerned are you, especially given the fact that we have seen protesters over and over and over at his events? How concerned are you that people...
I, for one, am shocked and astonished to see that being, participating in a genocide has led to, some negative responses, some unpopularity from people who are generally aligned with progressive values.
Young people, Arab Americans, progressives. I'm not suggesting that they're going to go vote for Donald Trump, but how concerned are you that they might just stay home?
Well, let me just say this, because I've been the recipient of their, shall we say, exuberances in this regard as recently as in Seattle on Thursday, unfortunately, wanted to disrupt our very exciting democratic meeting there. They're in front of my house all the time. So I have a feeling for what feelings they have. But we have to think about what we're doing. And what we have to do is try to stop the suffering in Gaza. This is women and children, people who don't have a place to go. So let's address that. But for them to call for a ceasefire is Mr. Putin's message.
Ah, I see. There we go. Mr. Putin's... see, we want the death to stop. However, actually stopping the death, that's Russia shit. That's Russian interference. That's, you can claim, listen, all right, we will tolerate thoughts and prayers being directed at the slaughtered Palestinian children. However, if you actually do anything to try to prevent them from being slaughtered, you're essentially a fascist. You're the enemy. You're on the other side.
Mr. Putin's message. Make no mistake, this is directly connected to what he would like to see. Same thing with Ukraine.
That's it, guys. Yeah, you can't. You see, Putin also wants an end to Israel's genocide of Palestinians. So we have to do it. You don't want to agree with Putin, do you? Come on.
About Putin's message. I think some of these protesters are spontaneous and organic and sincere. Some, I think, are...
So I know it sounds like she's just being a clown, but what she's doing here is incredibly sinister. She's essentially trying to turn the pro-Ukraine liberals against the pro-Palestinian liberals and leftists. Her goal here is to drive a wedge, essentially to say, like, remember this other conflict? Well, here's where people settle, like, on this side of things, Now, obviously, that's a complete lie, and she knows it's a lie, but it's a cynical effort to do so.
Connected to Russia, and I say that having looked at this for a long time now, as you know.
You think some of these protests are Russian plants?
I don't think they're plants. I think some financing should be investigated, and I want to ask the FBI to investigate that. But apart from that, let's just say it's all spontaneous and sincere.
Excuse me?
FBI to investigate that. But apart from that, let's just say it's all spontaneous and sincere.
I want to investigate whether an enemy nation is funding this, but in lieu of any actual evidence, let's just say it's sincere. What a slimy piece of shit. What a demon.
Let's say it's all spontaneous and sincere. Young people care about the right to choose. They care about LGBTQ issues. They care about preserving the planet. They care about gun violence.
Boss, she's setting up a hypothetical. Yeah, it seems that she is. I didn't get that impression from her tone. I maintain my demon comment.
Prevention, that's what they tell us. They care about our democracy and the freedoms that are contained in some of what I said. So they're going to have to make a decision, staying home to enable or to agonize, organize, not agonize, but...
Yeah. to agonize. Wait, no, actually, stop doing that. Just organize, incredible from nearly saying victim earlier to like, wait, no, don't press back against us. So yeah, the White House, the Dems are in full damage control mode. They know they're cooked. Biden's approval rating among young people is plummeting. I mean, I think I saw recently like 30% or sub 30% approval on a poll. I think I saw that just earlier this morning. For young people, 71% approval. I think you mean 71% disapproval. Yeah, here we go. Biden job approval among ages 18 to 29, which is again the most left-leaning age bracket in the United States. Approved 27%, disapproved 71%. Incredible. The Democrats know they've cooked themselves like big time, and as a consequence of that, they are petrified. But they're not going to stop doing what they're doing in Israel for reasons we've talked about. So, Jesus, look, disapproval of Joe Biden is 60% or higher in every age bracket. This isn't even the least of it, by the way. Biden completely, at least as of now, backed down when Greg Abbott just defied the Supreme Court. Biden was like, whoa, oh, you're gonna just like ignore Supreme Court rulings, whatever. What if I made you happy by working with you to pass some anti-immigration legislation? Like, yeah, it's everything bad that happens in this upcoming election and everything that happens negative from there. And if people die, if a lot of people die, any of that, you can blame that squarely on the Dems. There's a point past which abstemiousness and incompetence has to be malicious. You can't. They're like, Jesus Christ. Like this is supposed to be like a political strategist here. Pelosi's been in government since the Paleolithic era, and this is what we get. Not even the most insulting thing is that it's not even a competent attempt to win back voters who are pushed away from the DNC following their support of genocide in Gaza. There's not even like a good effort going on here. It's insane. Vosh, Russia brought a Hamas leader over to Moscow right after October 7th. Okay. Would you like to elaborate on that? Yeah, so did I.
Most of your constituents block beside you. Stop the genocide. Stop the Holocaust.
The Democrats want the ceasefire. The Democrats want the ceasefire. The Democrats want the ceasefire.
Go back to China where your headquarters is. Did you see Fetterman on top of the building? Yeah, I saw Fetterman on top of the building. I'm not logged in? I'm logged in. F*** off.
You're supporting genocide! Fetterman, you can't hide! You're supporting genocide! Fetterman, you can't hide! You're supporting genocide! Fetterman, you can't hide! You're supporting
Did he jump? If only. Did you see Fetterman's wife deactivate her Twitter? She might be leaving him. I mean, maybe, as scandalous as that would be. He has the high ground. Well, if he did jump too with his weight, like it'd be a guaranteed death too, right? Like there'd be no ambiguity with him. Like a guy of his size, like that's a safe bet. Anything more than like 4 feet of a fall. Why are folks like Pelosi and Fetterman so damn determined to die on this hill? The broader strategic reason is wedge against Iran because Iran has a nuclear weapons program that they're working on and probably will have a nuclear weapon soon. The other main reason is that you got to understand these ancient Democrats are arrogant motherfuckers. They have been like the responsible stewards of American democracy for ages, and they've only gotten more arrogant since Trump. Like they were plenty arrogant under when George Bush was in power, but now with the Cheeto Dorito man being their primary opposition, they have only gotten more complacent, more arrogant in the idea that only they have the brains and the knowledge to rule over the American people. They're all petty tyrants, but they're petty tyrants who believe in institutional power and proceduralism. They're petty tyrants, but they're weak petty tyrants. They're not even like the petty tyrants of the GOP, where they understand how power works and what you need to do to acquire it. Instead, they're bleeding away their power and goodwill with insanely irrational decisions. Look, if Biden loses the election, then everyone donate to me because I told you so. I don't know if he's going to or not. A lot can still happen, but Jesus Christ, man, the Dems are doing everything they can to make sure the Republicans put you in a death camp by next year. Remember what IRI said about Israel-Palestine not mattering? Well, yeah, it's incredibly arrogant. It's arrogance, you know? I think that this is like a specific kind of brain disease that liberals have, because a lot of them are private technocrats, policy wonks, and institutional power holders who think that the key to power is some kind of like mechanical brain that's capable of seeing the path and understanding the systems. And as a consequence of that, you know, they get really arrogant when other people have contrary opinions. To an extent, that elitism is present in all political leaders, including Republicans. But, you know, that I don't know. I've never seen a Trump supporter say something like that. I've never seen a Trump supporter say, like, if Trump did something electorally unpopular, them going like, nah, no one will remember. You know, they don't, because that indicates, I guess, such like a callous disregard for the people, you know? Does that make any sense? Like, you know, very arrogant, like, you know, the peasants won't even remember. Nothing makes sense right now. It all makes sense. I mean, all of this follows, I think, fairly predictable material patterns. It doesn't mean you can see the future, but you can understand how the past led us to where we are now. It's not good. Did I see this? I saw this. Why isn't the Squad or someone similar calling out this behavior? Arm twisting, I imagine.
Do you some of your colleagues, and we talked about what's happened at the protests this week, have called the president Genocide Joe. Some of your colleagues have accused the president of supporting genocide, including Rashida Tlaib. Do you agree with that word, genocide, that the president's been supporting a genocide, or does that go too far?
I think what we are seeing right now throughout the country is that young people are appalled at the violence and the indiscriminate loss of life. We are not just seeing 25,000 people that have died in Gaza.
Notice how all of her language is completely neutral. People who have died, loss of life, so on.
We are seeing the starvation of millions of people, the displacement of over 2 million Gazans. We have South Africa that has mounted a court in the ICJ. The ICJ ruled this week that Israel has a grave responsibility to prevent genocide.
But they're still determining whether it's a genocide. Do you think that
they are still determining
given that it's still under investigation?
I believe that they're still determining it, but in the interim ruling, the fact that they said there's a responsibility to prevent it, the fact that this word is even in play, the fact that this word is even in our discourse, I think demonstrates the mass inhumanity that Gazans are facing. And so whether you are an individual that believes this is a genocide, which, by the way, in our polling, we are seeing large amounts of Americans concerned specifically with that word. So I don't think that it is something.
She looks like threatened or something. There is a gun to her head right out of frame there. Notice how her language, she is such a politician. No. Read between the lines, okay? The way she's talking is very careful. She's been talked to a lot behind the scenes. I do think she's doing a relatively good job here, but notice how she's not making any, like, the statements that she is making do not make sense if she doesn't believe there's a genocide. You know, think, okay, imagine what she's saying except framed through like the disingenuous lying of an internet Nazi. The interviewer asks, do you think there's a genocide? And AOC goes, no, I don't know. I don't know if there's a genocide. I don't know. But a lot of people, many people are asking questions. Take a look at the polling. Polling says a lot of people are concerned. A lot of people with that word on the tip of their tongue. I don't know. Is there a genocide? I mean, I don't know if there's a genocide. I mean, there's an investigation and a lot of people are bringing it up. Like, that's how she's talking. And the reason she's talking that way is because the sniper with the bead trained on her forehead will fire if she says herself directly that there is a genocide going on.
Thing to completely toss someone out of our public discourse for using. But I think what we are seeing here is that the Netanyahu government has lost public support and that we have a responsibility to protect the human rights and the humanity of Gazans and hostages alike in the area.
The arm twisting going on back there is insane. I think that she, maybe not so much her, but probably a lot of her colleagues are worried about getting primaried by AIPAC-backed centrist pro-Israel candidates in the coming election. My guess is that the global right wing, which funnels a lot of money into AIPAC, though AIPAC presents itself as like a neutral, not politically partisan organization, except for, of course, its support of Israel, is going to try to work to primary a lot of good people. I think what a lot of the Dems kind of see happening is Biden loses, therefore we all lose, but also the Democrats that survive through 2024 are like the moderate centrist milquetoast ones Republicans are less likely to throw into a ditch. So, we'll see. We'll see.